when there's something strange in your neighborhood, or something weird and it don't look good. You're probably just a new parent. This episode, we're reviewing Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and I'll share the story of my lifelong dream of putting together a Ghostbusters flight suit of my very own. So grab your neutrino wand, fire up your proton pack, and don't cross the streams! Who are you going to call? The Three-Dimensional Dads.
Three friends, all geeks, exploring every dimension of being a dad. I'm Jay.
I'm Derek.
And I'm Ian.
And we're the Three-Dimensional Dads. Hey, how's everyone doing on this fine podcast evening?
Good. We got a new Ghostbusters movie, so I am a buzz.
It is like a bee.
A buzz.
He's buzzed like a bee. It is
spoiler alert.
Which could a bee because that's my grade for this film, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Let's bury the lead, Jay. Yeah, I mean, Ghostbusters is something that is something near and dear to I think all of our childhoods, something like that.
Yeah, both. Yeah,
because it was the '80s and things were great in the '80s.
Right, nostalgia. I mean, there are a lot of good feelings about the '80s, the movies, the music is so good. And for me, I was 5 years old in the '80s, and so Ghostbusters to me was not just a movie; it was a cartoon. It was action figures. It was cereal. It was the Ecto Cooler juice. Yeah. For Halloween, I think 2 Halloweens in a row when I was 4 and 5, I dressed up as a Ghostbuster. So like that to me, when I was a kid, Star Wars was another one like this, where it was more than just a movie. There's like this whole culture around it. So that's, Ghostbusters for me is squarely in that bigger than a movie kind of area.
I mean, other than AIDS crack and the Cold War, the '80s were pretty good.
Well, you have prime SNL cast members, right? I mean, and I've heard a lot of people say that Ghostbusters is almost a near perfect movie in terms of a script. There's a couple different movies, and it is just one of those films that will stand the test of time every time you see it. People recite it like almost word for word all the time. It is a classic.
And I think there's an iconography to it also that like elevates it. Like Back to the Future has that with the DeLorean. The look to feel like that is iconic, that car. And with the Ghostbusters, their proton packs and the firehouse and the
Ecto One,
like their car. Right. I mean, it's just even simple but iconic. The design elements are so good.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into the movie itself.
Well, hold on one second, Ian. Don't cross the streams here. All right, because Derek hasn't seen it yet.
I have not seen it. Full disclosure, I did not bring my
here's the
neutrino
problem.
wand.
If you've seen the trailer, you basically have seen the movie.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Ooh.
I mean, I have a problem with movies that show Act 3 in their trailers.
Yes.
Trailers to me should be Act 1, maybe some Act 2. If you're showing the end of Act 3 in your trailer, I think you have a problem with your movie.
You know who does that really well? Is whenever The Walking Dead comes out with a new series or season, they only show stuff from the first 2 episodes. So the one that I'm watching right now is the new one. It's The Ones Who Live about Rick and Michonne. And they only really showed stuff from episodes 1 and 2, maybe a little bit of 3, but there was no story given. But unfortunately, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, there was a little story given. But we should get right into it, and I will get right into it with my old self saying, I love nostalgia. It makes me feel young. Nostalgia is great. Some people want all new stuff, and I get it. However, this movie, great blend. He put new characters back in New York, bring the OGs back as an original Ghostbusters. Want to see what I did there? As part of the story. And it was great nostalgia and fan service, and it passed the torch. More so than the last movie, because the last movie was out in Oklahoma. It really only brought the Ghostbusters in at the end. I really like this movie. I thought it was good passing of the torch.
Right. And I feel like especially having them in the ghost house, like this family's here, have assumed the identity of the Ghostbusters. They're driving the Ecto One, they're in the firehouse. Like it did feel like a very passing of torch. Like the setting was so different. So I came into this movie with very low expectations. I read the reviews beforehand and I heard 4 out of 10. And for a Ghostbusters fan, I'm wearing a flight suit right now. I have a proton pack right next to me. I was super pumped for this. And so to hear 4 out of 10, my expectations just lowered so much. But I was surprised. I thought it was great. I thought it was a lot of fun. And so those reviews kind of set my expectations low, and then I really enjoyed it. I didn't think anything was cringeworthy. You say 4 out of 10 to me, I'm thinking they're going to be like eye-rolly, like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Indiana Jones moments where you're like, wow, that didn't work. Or like scenes long and boring. I thought it moved. I thought it was great. And I had heard something before, I think, that also set my expectations, that this movie was based off of the vibe of the Ghostbusters cartoon.
Yeah.
That it's like the ghost of the week. It's like that, it's like that kind of, they're in the ghost house, Slimer's there, they're going out on a mission. It felt like, they kind of based it off of that Ghostbusters cartoon a bit. And I loved it. I really enjoyed the movie. I'll watch it again.
Derek, what did you think of Ghostbusters 2 when you saw it?
I don't know if I actually really saw it in the theaters. The Statue of Liberty one we're talking, right? Yeah, I don't recall going out to see it, and it didn't make a giant impact with me. I mean, there was the part at the end, right? I guess where you had everybody in New York like kind of pulling behind the symbolism of the Statue of Liberty. But I can't really say that's been one that I've gone repeatedly watched. But I know for Afterlife, parts of that are important. If I'm correct, and the original story, of course, with the architecture scene. So I can't say it's had a lasting impression on me.
I am glad you said that, because that movie kind of soured me on sequels for Ghostbusters in general. Like sometimes you think that one movie and done and just leave it. And Ghostbusters 2 is kind of
right.
But these two movies, Afterlife and Frozen Empire, I think what Ian was saying too, the expectations were low, so this kind of like went above them. However, there was some bad stuff that kind of like petered it out and almost made me feel a little bit like I was watching Ghostbusters 2. For example, the villain Garaka kind of felt shoehorned in. It's like he didn't fit in the movie. It was some kind of weird, like he just kind of came out of nowhere. What I would have loved was a spirit like tied to New York, because I think one of the main important characters in the original Ghostbusters was the city. When they roll up to Dana Barrett's building and there's like Catholic priests and breakdancers and Hasidic Jews, and they're all standing out there saying Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters. Like that's not people, that's New York City. So I thought maybe they could have used the city. And I also think that they didn't really use Bill Murray very much. Venkman was kind of underused. And I think that's one of the things about Ghostbusters 2 is that they didn't really use the characters as much as I thought they were going to do. There was this kid podcast who was in the first Afterlife movie, the first one with this new. You could have left him out, and the movie would have been fine.
Oh yeah,
I would have been okay. I like the fact that Finn Wolfhard's girlfriend was in the lab that they created with this British guy. But like they said, oh, she's interning this summer. Like interning for what? Like it didn't make sense. Like have her be going to NYU, which is the OG Ghostbusters alma mater. You could have kind of tied it back to. So I kind of felt like
I like that.
I felt like there was like a distance between the city as a character and the old movie as a character and this movie. I think that was kind of meh. And that's why like Ghostbusters 2, up until that last moment where they're walking through New York and Statue of Liberty, the movie kind of feels a little disconnected.
Mike.
Oh, that's a shame. You could have done like the Boogeyman of
Something
Brooklyn
like
or
that,
something. Or like,
or all the hate from New York was manifesting as ooze under the city. Come on. So you hit on something great.
Giant pizza rat.
Come on, pizza rat. Come on. I miss stuff like that. That playfulness. I agree. Something you mentioned. There are too many characters. Like you have the OG Ghostbusters around. You have Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson and Bill Murray, and like I love them so much. And Annie Potts. But then you have like this new family with Paul Rudd and with Phoebe and her mom and Finn Wolfhard. And then you have like these extra characters from Ghostbusters Afterlife with, the girlfriend and podcast. And then you have the new Ghostbuster researchers who's like, there are a couple of those characters. It was just too many characters on screen. And there are times where they're standing around like not knowing what to do. The blocking is like, okay, stand in a line and we stagger you a bit. And then everyone just use your proton packs. Like they didn't need to be there. And I wanted more from the family.
Yep.
So like you have this new family, Paul Rudd and the mom, and there's this dynamic there. And I kind of think they're going to hit on like Phoebe. This is Paul Rudd's kind of her dad now. They're Ghostbusters together. Finn Wolfhard's kind of his son. Finn Wolfhard and Phoebe don't really interact much. Like I wanted more with the characters in between. So yeah, it felt a little overstuffed to me. And then I won't get into spoiler territory, but some of the stuff they do with ghosts I found a little off-brand. Ghosts in Ghostbusters tend to be monsters. They tend to be... Slimer is not the actual... You don't see the actual person who was Slimer, right? You see like a manifestation of this weird slime creature. Or, the Scolari brothers. Like, they don't really look like people. They look like these weird monstery people.
Yes.
So when we get some realistic ghost people, kind of like Harold Ramis in Ghostbusters Afterlife, that was breaking with canon and whatever, but I was okay with that. Here, they kind of continue with that, but you've got to do something new. You have to introduce new ideas. So, like, I dig that, but I don't know if it completely worked for me. And then my other critique of this movie would be the nostalgia bait.
Boo.
Other reviewers had a big problem with it, and I didn't have as big of an issue. I know that we're getting a lot of nostalgia bait with, like, the original Ghostbusters, but at least there wasn't, like, a moment. The worst to me is in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, when Karen Allen shows up and Indiana Jones, there's a moment where he's like, Marion Ravenwood, and she's like, Indiana Jones. And there's an applause break. And they just stand there for a moment like, yes, we're back. And they smile. They're like, here we are, audience. And you're like, that doesn't age well in a movie. It just feels, and at least I don't think anything was that nostalgia baity. But, a lot of the nostalgia worked on me so much. I loved being in the ghost house. I loved seeing the Ecto-1. That was awesome.
Yep.
Ton of fun. So, since we are the three-dimensional dads, what do we think about the fatherhood stuff in here? I touched on it a little bit. Jay, did you think about fatherhood stuff that popped up?
Yeah, and I think there was dad-ish roles. Like Winston and Ray kind of had dad-ish roles, like mentoring dad-ish roles. Especially Ray.
Right.
There was a good sequence with Ray bringing podcasts and Phoebe to the New York Public Library, where they kind of find out about Garaka and the orb thing.
Yeah,
but I kind of felt teased. I wish that the OG Ghostbusters had kids. And I know in Ghostbusters 2, like Venkman has, like, Dana's baby is like not Venkman's baby, but like he kind of does like a weird father testing thing with him. I don't know.
Oscar. Yeah.
But I really
wish
the OGs had kids.
What happened to Oscar?
The twins grew up, and I think they're living somewhere in Soho. I don't know. But I think, Ian, to your point before about the too many characters thing, that would have made it, again, too many characters, right? But if the OGs had kids and kind of had some dynamic there, what I really would have loved is a monologue to Egon, basically saying, Egon, I'll take care of your kids, I promise. Like something from Ray.
Right.
Again, I think Ray is kind of like the central daddish character, the mentoring character. Winston's this philanthropist. He's bankrolling everything. He's kind of like Bruce Wayne. Just he's a rich guy, and he's like, yes, let's make a ghost lab on Queens. It's like it's a weird thing. They go over the bridge, and all of a sudden there's this big lab with ghosts in it. Paul Rudd, Carrie Coon,
that was dope.
Totally criminally underutilized Paul Rudd and Carrie Coon because they were the parents. I mean, like there was a monologue from Paul Rudd to Phoebe, even though Phoebe wasn't in the room. He was just talking about like how hard it is to be a stepdad and how he appreciates her and things like that. That was a great moment, and I think that was Paul Rudd's best moment in the film. Carrie Coon could have not even been there, and it wouldn't have made a difference to the story. So I really wish they kind of used a little bit more of the family, like you said. But I thought the Ghostbusters, the OGs, kind of had this dad-ish role, and I thought that was good, again, for like kind of a passing of the torch thing.
Right. And I wish there was more with Paul Rudd. It's like in the end, there's a moment where, there's some I want one spoiler alert, but Phoebe kind of validates him as part of the family. Like there is something in there, but it just feels kind of shoehorned at the end. Yep. I really thought Finn Wolfhard, he's a great actor. They gave him kind of a very C-plot. He's almost in his own movie in this movie. I thought he could do stuff with Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's so good. And with Phoebe, I wanted more of that fatherhood stuff. So, yes, letter grade. What are we thinking? So, for this movie, what do you think, Jay?
Solid B, I think. And I think solid B because any property like this should get a solid B if you do it right. There no retreads or remakes or anything like that should be A's. Like Beetlejuice is coming out in the fall. I saw that there's like a 45-second trailer out there right now.
Yeah, there is. Yep.
From what they showed, it looks good. I think, the dad dies and there's something with that now and Beetlejuice is back. I didn't see Gina Davis or Alec Baldwin in it. But I don't think any like remake or retread of the same thing should get a B or should get anything above a B. That's different from like Batman. Like when they redo a Batman, like I think that the Batman with Robert Pattinson was an A.
Right.
Because
I like that one a lot.
What they did is they took they took Chris Nolan's universe and they kind of like they put it in a blender with a comic book, and there you go. That was it, and it was so great because it was really the same characters, the same tropes, the same stories, but new. So I think this movie, solid B. That's what it's supposed to be, and I'm happy about it.
I love all the wordplay. I'm in the same kind of park. I'd say a B+. I thought it was going to be really bad, and like even if I have critiques about it, I had a ton of fun. I laughed a lot.
You did.
I thought it's just like a fun, I thought almost a summer movie. It's just a good time. And as a Ghostbusters fan, I loved all the little obscure stuff. I love Patton Oswalt. I love Kumail Nanjiani. I thought, and it's breaking some new ground in the right places for me too, where it's like it's not just a remake like Force Awakens was, where it's the same movie as A New Hope. This felt like it was kind of breaking some new ground. You stay familiar, you stay nostalgic, but they did something fun with it. All right, so the next phase of this, the future of the franchise. Based on this movie, we're getting a little spoiler territory here about what happens. What do you think about the future of where are these Ghostbusters movies, the properties? It says Ghost Corps at the beginning of the movie, which they have for the past couple Ghostbusters things. There's this whole division of Sony that's like, oh, we're going to make a ton of Ghostbusters stuff. So, Jay, what do you think of the next Ghost Corps movie is going to be?
They're gonna do another Ghostbusters. I think the sandbox is wide open, and again, I really think New York City is a character. Like personally, no offense, New Yorkers, we're gonna lose some listeners here. I don't like New York City. Like it's okay to visit. Listen. If I wanted to smell old urine, I'd go smell old urine somewhere. No, I'm just kidding. New York to me is too big, but that's just me. I grew up around Boston. Boston is the perfect size city for me. But for storytelling, there is no better city than New York City, I think. New York City is a character. It tells a story, and they could do so much with it. Just based on how they looked in this movie, Bill Murray especially, him and Dan Aykroyd are getting kind of older. I'm trying to be kind, as Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray are some of my favorite actors. They did this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard or seen about it. It's called Ghostbusters, one of my favorite movies. So I'm being a little sarcastic there, but I love them together. Ernie Hudson is getting older to some extent too. Get one more film in, finish passing the torch, and there you go.
You gotta have a trilogy. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if you'll get Bill Murray back. I think Murray's been here as like, he was kind of a cameo more in this one. Aykroyd did, and Ernie Hudson had more to do. I could see them doing a third one and kind of closing it out because everyone loves trilogies. But I do kind of feel like the well is dry on this one. You could have a brand new Ghostbusters International. I've heard they think about going. I've heard, they just introduced this new research lab for Ghostbusters. I could see this spinning off. I kind of thought the reason why they're setting up these characters is for another movie. It's like, why introduce this all these new people and all this new stuff in the lab? It felt like they're trying to set up some bigger universe for Ghostbusters. So I felt the world building happening for a sequel, so I'm assuming there's going to be one. And I've heard there's a Ghostbuster cartoon. There's something coming to Netflix that might be like a cool Spider-Verse-y. They're trying to do something with Ghostbusters. And we're getting into some spoilers, but at the end of this movie, there is a ghost situation that they might have to deal with. So I could see the next movie dealing with ghost situation. So, yes, we enjoyed it. I think there will be more Ghostbuster movies to come, which brings me up that I am currently wearing a flight suit.
You are.
If you want to build a flight suit, there will be more movies to wear flight suits to. This, being a Ghostbuster for Halloween is going to be something that's just going to keep continuing on and on. So, I built my own Ghostbusters flight suit, the whole costume and all the gizmos. So I thought I'd run through quickly how to make it. When I was a kid, I mentioned at the beginning of the episode that when I was 4 or 5, I was a Ghostbuster for a couple Halloweens. I loved Ghostbusters. I ate the cereal. I watched a cartoon. I drank the juice. It was like a big thing for me. And I always hated how my costumes didn't look anything like an actual flight suit. It was like a white thing with a No Ghost logo on the chest. That doesn't look like. And so when I got a little older, I was seeing, in Salem, there are all these, I live in Salem, Massachusetts. There are all these Ghostbusters going around. And so I looked up how much a flight suit is and like, how would you make one on your own? And it's pretty cheap on Amazon, like this khaki suit, $20, $30. It wasn't much. And like these little patches you can buy on Amazon that have like, you kind of customize it with your name. There's one that says my last name. There's one that has a No Ghost patch. You sew them on, and like that's a under $60 Halloween costume.
There you go.
That looks pretty good. I mean, there's a next step up that you can go where you have like, these are the elbow pads that like they always wear. They're women's volleyball knee pads, and you put them on your arms. I don't know why. You know, there are some gloves you can wear. There's something called the P tube. There's a yellow tube that is on all the Ghostbuster costumes, and that kind of stuff you can get on Etsy. So if you want to go that next level and get like all the little trinkets, Etsy is a great place to find all those little gizmos and stuff. And you know, if you're looking for the Proton Pack, Hasbro made one. I'm assuming they're probably going to make one for this movie, for Frozen Empire. They kind of changed up the Proton Packs in this movie. But, you know, I got a Proton Pack through Hasbro and a Neutrona one through Hasbro. So I know all that stuff's online. And, yeah, it's pretty easy Halloween costume to put together.
You know, there's also lots of people 3D print Proton packs.
Really? The whole
do
pack?
Like their whole, like, yeah, their own
That's
thing.
cool.
Yeah, the whole wands and stuff. And you know, when we went to that comic book convention, there's like a Massachusetts Society of like Ghostbusters and stuff. Yeah. There's like
I
all
think
these
those
groups
guys,
and stuff.
the society is who's in Salem. They have their own Ecto-1. They'd stand by it and let you take a picture with them. So that's where I first saw them.
Yeah. But apparently they build their own packs and stuff. And,
well, that's how it used to be. Packs
props
used to be $3,000.
Yeah.
This episode of Three Dimensional Dads is brought to you by Amazon, Etsy, and Hasbro.
Check out the links below and buy some stuff. We don't have links below, but just
below.
go. Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us and listening to our review of the incredible Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. We loved it, and we hope you did too. If you wind up making a flight suit because of this episode, send us a pic on our socials. We'd love to see it.
If you want to find out more about the Three Dimensional Dads, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at 3Dimensional Dads. Or email us at 3dimensionaldads@gmail.com. We want to hear from you.
On the next episode of Three Dimensional Dads, we're talking about adult male friendships, bromances, if you will. It's become a hot topic lately, especially post-pandemic, with half of men saying they're not truly happy with the level of their friendships, and 15% of men saying they don't have a single close friend. Are we in a friendship recession? All this and more on the next episode of Three Dimensional Dads.
Three friends, all dads, exploring every dimension of being a geek.